We are starting with a 2v2 practice, as you can see, with some end zones at either end, and a really simple practice around the two blues trying to work the ball down the pitch, past the yellows into an end zone. When that happens, blues retreat. My name's Andy Summers, I'm National Coach Development Lead at the Football Association, and today we're going to have a look at a session around moving with the ball, specifically focused around the youth development phase, so 12 to 16s. Fundamentally, we're going to start with just one area set up in the centre of the pitch purposefully, which is around the under 12s to 16s phases, to give them some pitch geography around where it might sit. We are starting with a 2v2 practice, as you can see, with some end zones at either end, and a really simple practice around the two blues trying to work the ball down the pitch, past the yellows into an end zone. When that happens, blues retreat, yellows would start with the ball and try and carry the ball down the pitch and again beat the blues into the other end zone at this end. So a really simple setup to start. Players should hopefully understand it really quickly. Purpose of the session being 2v2, linked to the focus, is around moving with the ball. So as soon as we start to get higher than twos in numbers, there's a likelihood that we're going to increase the opportunities for players to pass, which is not what we're wanting to do. So hopefully by staying at 2v2, we give players loads of opportunities in 1v1s and in 2v1s to get comfortable on the ball. This will be in both facing up, as you can see here. There'll also be opportunities where players have got their back to the defending player and they need to work out how to move with the ball to then start to get in behind the other team if possible. We will start to look at some combinations, so there will start to be some joining between the two. And what happens if this player starts to move with the ball across the pitch? How does this start to impact the second player that's on the team? We won't work out a possession on this one, so the defending team will just work on trying to win the ball back. When they do, they've obviously got a target of trying to get into that end zone as quick as they can and move with the ball. Multiple ways of moving with the ball, depending on the scenario they're in. It could be small, close control dribbling where they've got to go by players. It could be where there's some space. So if yellows are really high up the pitch, there could be some space in behind for them to knock the ball into some space to be able to get into. And it'll hopefully give the players lots of opportunity to practice as we go through. Conscious, only using 4 players at present. More players turn up, or you have more players in your group, or you need to work with them, we could easily start adding more practices onto the sides of the pitches to go for here. So we can now start to accommodate for 8 players. We can now start to accommodate for 12 players as we go through. That could be preset, so you could already have them set up, or it could be something you're working on as you go through. Progressions, and obviously linked to some of the stuff we've got going on, could be to add more players. Conscious, when you start to add more players, there's a chance that you're going to take away from the moving with the ball scenario. So if you get to 3s and 4s, there's a likelihood we're going to start looking at combination play rather than moving with the ball. And the last one from a progression point of view would be to remove the end zones. So if we remove the end zones away and just had a line, that would hopefully improve the accuracy of the moving with the ball to that end point. So instead of having to get it into an end zone, if we said blues and yellows have to stop it on the line, there's a chance it's going to bring their control a lot tighter, and it's going to make them concentrate on getting it to a set point to stop the ball rather than running it into an end zone. So looking at the step principle and bringing it into play, obviously the tighter the pitch you have and the smaller the pitch you have, that's going to encourage certain types of moving with the ball. So that's going to encourage some tighter, close control sort of moving in 1v1 positions where you're going to be sort of dodging and weaving to get past. The bigger the area you have, or the bigger the space you have, it's going to create bigger gaps and bigger distances where we may be able to knock the ball round players into space and play over and have bigger touches of the ball between here and the end zone to get in.